Mr. Schefter, how you doing this week?
Andy, Nick, and Ted, what's going on, gentlemen?
So, were you one of the few people that was disappointed in Drake Maye's performance because he didn't get you a lot of fantasy points?
Who said that?
Well, you told us last week that the Schefter family was a big fan of Drake Maye and on all your fantasy teams.
Yeah. Well, he played a great game and they won, right? I mean, my fantasy team doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So, I mean, yeah, I like to see him have double the points, but who am I to complain about that, right?
Right.
I mean, that was a signature win for them and for him, the biggest win they've had in a long time. And I think Drake Maye would take that game every single time. I'd like more personal stats, but that's me.
Adam, that was the game in which a lot of people kind of just the fervor for Drake Maye and the Patriots after that win was off the charts. Are you surprised to hear some of the vernacular being used to describe Drake Maye? He had special traits, but I don't, a lot of people hadn't seen him on a national stage.
Yeah.
Are you surprised to see kind of how excited people are over Drake Maye and the Patriots after that big win?
I really think it was just a matter of time before everybody kind of took notice. And I think there were some people that had, but if we go back to the pre-draft process, my trusted, respected colleague Tim Hasselbeck said that Drake Maye was the best quarterback in that draft class. And the New York Giants and Minnesota Vikings both wanted to try to trade up to New England's spot or higher to try to go get Drake Maye, and the Patriots wouldn't trade that pick. So I think there were draft analysts out there that knew that Drake Maye had special talent, and there were other teams out there that felt like Drake Maye had special talent. And I think that he flashed at times, but when you go and lead a team to a victory like that in Buffalo, to me, it just sort of announces your arrival. And yes, his fantasy numbers were not as robust as I would like them to be, but everybody knows the plays he made and the type of throws he executed to help win that game and put the Patriots square in the playoff conversation. So, yeah, I mean, I think there were people that expected this all along, and now more and more people are seeing it.
That was this week's Drake Take from Adam Schefter, presented by your New England Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Adam, I think the way that Mike Vrabel has handled his players and has come across in public to date as coach of the Patriots has surprised some people. I think folks kind of anticipated, because he was kind of a big mouth when he played for the Patriots and a hardo and a tough guy and hard ass, that he may be more like that as a head coach. But instead, he's been a bit more in tune with their feelings. He's been protective of players like Ramondre Stevenson with his fumbling issues. So I just want to ask you, is that more endemic of the way head coaches are going in the NFL? Or could you possibly see more coaches being like Mike Vrabel and less, I don't know, dare I say, Belichickian?
I think coaches are going to be who they are. I don't think you could try to be somebody you're not. And this is, I think, what's made Mike Vrabel successful over time. A couple of things there. You mentioned Ramondre Stevenson and him sticking with him with his fumbling issues, right? We saw an instance on the sideline on Sunday in Arizona where there was a different approach taken, right or wrong. Now, somebody was saying to me that Jonathan Gannon was offering encouragement to Amari DiMarcado. It wasn't exactly like it looked. Okay, but it had a certain look. It had a certain look to it. And we didn't see Mike Vrabel engage in that type of action when Ramondre Stevenson was fumbling. And the other thing, I got to be honest with you. There's one video and one moment that I remember for all the success that Mike Vrabel had in Tennessee. There was a video that I guess the Titans must have shown or somebody else put it up on social media. But I always remember seeing him standing outside the locker room after they had won a big game. Don't remember who they beat. But he was there to personally greet each player. Now, maybe that goes on regularly with other coaches, but I hadn't seen that kind of thing in the NFL. The head coach standing outside the locker room, waiting for every player to come in so he could shake their hand and congratulate them one by one until every player was in. I remember that video. And I think that demonstrates and indicates who Mike Vrabel is as a coach. So yes, is he a hardo? Is he a tough guy? Is he a man's man? Yeah, he's all those things. But he also puts his players first, which is why I believe he's got the support of a lot of the people in his locker room.
ESPN's Adam Schefter here with WEEI Afternoons. Adam, you mentioned the fumbling issues with Stevenson. We've seen them kind of work through that, but they also lost Antonio Gibson to the ACL. Any chance there's a trade market out there for a team like the Patriots? Although I know Cardinals, Chargers, there's some other teams that could be in the market. Any running backs available via the trade market?
Yeah, I guess when it comes to running backs, my thought always is, not that I'm trying to devalue them, there are some incredible running backs, but you could go sign a running back off a practice squad that might be able to make a mark. Why are you going to give up compensation for one that might cost you more in draft pick compensation and salary? And I don't know who the guys are who would be available. You never know, like the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey at the deadline. Is there a losing team out there that would consider dealing one of its lead running? Maybe. I mean, I guess that could happen. But I don't know a name right now that I could say to you, this is who New England should be targeting. And the fact of the matter is, Ramondre Stevenson was a high pick who they paid, who's produced in the past. And Travion Henderson was a high pick who flashed in the summer, and we're still waiting for him to make a huge mark in the season. So they have some talent back there. It's not like they're bereft of talent. It's just time for that talent to make its mark.
Hey, Adam, I'm wondering if you're surprised at all by how bad and how hot that seat is getting for Bill Belichick down there at Chapel Hill. I'm sure you've been following that. Any thoughts on that storyline?
I don't pay that much attention to it because I'm kind of living in my own insulated world. But I'm when Bill goes down there and doesn't have the type of success that we're accustomed to seeing him have on a regular, that does surprise me. It sounds like there's a lot going on. I think it's an adjustment for any college coach going to the pros or pro coach going to college. I think there's an adjustment, a lot of things to learn. But, yeah, I'm surprised that it hasn't worked out better so far.
Adam, are you surprised at all by just the not only the intensity on field that Stephon Diggs has brought to the Patriots, but also the what he's done on the sidelines, the locker room, pregame, etc. I thought Sunday, between the pregame chat with Melissa Stark, his pep rally before the game, and then what he said in the locker room and how ferocious he was, you can see that he has locked this team in, and he is the leader, and they'll follow him into battle or anywhere.
Well, first of all, he happens to be, I mean, if you've ever met him before, he's a very likable guy. And I think that as you get older and you mature some, you recognize how important certain things are to you. And he's had it taken away from him in certain spots. And New England, was willing to pay him. And he came in there and he's responded to the way he's been coached and the way they've treated him. And they're getting the best of Stephon Diggs right now. And, first Patriot receiver to have 2 back-to-back 100-yard receiving games since Julian Edelman in 2019. And if they're going to get that type of performance on and off the field, then that's going to really elevate the Patriots.
Adam, before we let you go, I wanted to sneak in a Mac Jones question. Obviously, didn't work here, and now it's working in San Francisco, but they just paid Brock Purdy. Any idea maybe how that plays out? Do you think Mac Jones is a starter in the NFL somewhere?
Well, Brock Purdy's not going to practice again today, which tells me that Mac Jones is in line to start again this week. And Mac Jones has played well. The environment has elevated his play, as the 49ers thought it would. He signed a 2-year contract. And I guess that you look at it as a 2-year rehab project, so to speak, where you kind of rehab your confidence and playing style and swagger and all those things. And he's handled everything unbelievably so far. So his value is going up. And, I don't know if they're going to look to trade him. I think they're very happy with him. And they paid Brock Purdy. I think it's Brock Purdy's job. No matter what happens, it's Brock Purdy's job right now.
All right, Adam.
But there's value in Mac Jones. Yep.
We'll talk to you next week, and good luck with the fantasy football team this weekend.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.